call, Katrina Shanks.
Mr. Chair, it's my pleasure to take a call tonight in the committee stage of this bill. I've sat here for a while now and listened to the debate around me, and it's been interesting because if you were to sit here and watch this debate on television tonight or listen to it on the radio, you would think that National doesn't have a heart, that National don't want to help the most vulnerable, that National don't care about the mums at home living on their own, that National don't care about those on the unemployment benefit, and that National doesn't care about those on the sickness benefit. Well, actually, we do. And actually being a little bit aspirational about giving people pathways to improve their lives is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. And I think that the Labour members believe if you can keep people in poverty, if you can keep them in welfare, that's the best you can do for them. Well, actually, keeping people in welfare is not the best you can do for it. In fact, if the Labour government hadn't made such a mess of our economy 4 years ago, we would be in a much better state now, and we'd be seeing through the recession in a much better way, and we'd have much more jobs. And that is actually the reality of it. And I just want to respond to the Honourable Ross Robertson and what he was saying about those who are 50, 60, how hard it is for them to get jobs. And it is. It's hard for everybody out there to get jobs at the moment. No one is denying that. But what it's actually saying is we believe that there are jobs that you can go out. There will be jobs, more and more jobs, as we get through the recession. Isn't it interesting? Darren Hughes, the ex-member for Otaki over there says, no, there will be no more jobs. Well, I tell you what, there will be more jobs in New Zealand, and jobs are growing under a national government. And if that's the best that you can do for New Zealand is saying there are no more jobs out there, that's why you're in opposition, and that's why we're in government, because we'll be developing more jobs. And as for Ross Robertson's comments about those who are seniors who can't get into employment, well, actually, there are many people employing people over 50. And it's interesting, Darren Hughes sits there again, shakes his head, well, my office, I employ somebody over 60 in my office. So sit there and shake your head, but actually it does happen because those people still contribute a lot to our society and they still have a lot to offer. And it's interesting when we sat on the Select Committee and we had many submitters come in and talk to the Select Committee, and they did. And many of them gave good insights into their own personal experiences and came as representatives of other groups. And I'll just touch on what the Child Poverty Action Group said, which was really interesting. One of the statements they made, which I wrote down because I actually asked them to repeat it, was they did not believe long-term beneficiaries are better off in work. And if that's what they truly believe, that long-term beneficiaries are not better off in work, and that's quoted what they said, then no, I'm sorry, I disagree with them. They've got it totally wrong. And then another group came in, the Auckland Women's Centre and Women's Health Action Group. They came in and gave a submission to the committee, and what they said was really interesting. They said solo mums can be good mums and work in jobs at the same time. And they can. And they were actually endorsing that it's okay for a solo mum to go out there and get a job and work. And you can do both. You can balance working and doing. And this is what the Auckland Women's Centre and Women's Health Action Group said. And that's actually quite powerful. If you listen to the messages they're sending, they're actually quite powerful messages because they're actually backing women, and that's not a bad thing. They say who? For the third time, I repeat myself, if you stop badgering me, maybe your own members can hear, the Auckland Women's Centre and Women's Health Action Group. Solo mums can be good mums and work in good jobs at the same time. So they're backing women, National backs women, National backs those people on the unemployment benefit, National backs those on the sickness benefit. because we actually believe there is a pathway for them to have a better life. Thank you, Mr Chair.